In this series of videos, I'm showing you how to read from and write to a SQL Server database from C# with all code and no drag and drop wizards. In this video, I want to show you how to create the database that we're going to use in C#. So I have SQL Server Management Studio open here, and I want to right click there on database and create a new database. Now the name of the database, I'm going to call it Learners for C#. And that's all I need to do here, and press the OK. Do not click the add button because it goes to try and insert another database file. But there are two here already, the database file itself, the MDF, and the log file, LDF, which just keeps track of any changes that are made. So just click OK. Now that creates the database. If you don't see the database here, you can click on the refresh button there at the top. Now what I want to do is I want to add a table. So my table, right click and new table. Now it doesn't prompt you for a name of the table there until you go and close it. So I'm going to add in 4 fields into this. I'm going to have an ID, and it's going to be an int. Now down in the properties here at the bottom, I want my ID field to be an auto number. So how to do that in SQL Server is the identity specification, and you're changing that from a no to a yes. So identity specification, so just expand that, is identity, and just change that to yes. So the increment is 1 and the first number will start at 1. Now, and that will automatically there uncheck the allow nulls. Also what is recommended is that every table will have a field will be a primary key. So it will speed up searches. So I have the ID there as a primary key. Now 4 other columns. I want a name, and it's going to be a varchar, which is a variable length character field, and about 50 will be large enough for the name. I'm going to put in an address. That is also going to be a varchar. 200 should be enough for the address. And finally one more there, age, and I'll pop in an int there for age. Now, so we've ID, name, address, and age. To save that table, you can click on the save button, or you can click on the close button there, and it'll prompt for a name. And I'm going to call that learners and click OK. Now if you want to, you can input some data here, because the first thing we'll be doing is selecting from it. So so on the table, so if you don't see the table here, you can just do a refresh. And there's the learner table. And if you want to input some details, you can right click there and edit top 200 rows, and then you can type in some details. Do not put anything into the ID because that is an auto number, and then you can put in some details here if you want to. So I'll just put in a few. So anything at all here. Now, and that is how to create the learner table in SQL Server.